Hey there, my name is Emily Shenfield. I'm a developer educator on the team here at Twilio. And last week, we launched a couple exciting things. Twilio Alpha is our new program for showcasing ongoing research and development and giving developers hands-on access to our work. As part of Twilio Alpha, we launched the first project under that umbrella called Twilio AI Assistants, which is our platform for building conversational AI assistants with all of the Twilio communications and data that you already know built right in. Last week, we did a live stream where we got to meet the emerging technology and innovation team. And during that live stream, Chris Brox, who's a senior solutions engineer on the team, gave us a demo of AI assistants. In case you missed it, I'm going to throw it back to my past self to get us started.
I know we all love a demo. I especially love a demo. I started at Twilio as a demo engineer, so it's kind of my bread and butter to think about demoing products. We have Chris Brox, who's a senior solutions engineer on the emerging tech and innovations team. Hey, Chris, how's it going?
Hi, Emily. How's it going today?
Good. I love your camera setup there. It looks. We talked about this in rehearsals. You look so cinematic. It's like you're straight out of a movie. Yep.
Yes. No autographs, please. No autographs.
Awesome. Well, Chris, I'm excited to have you here to show us kind of how to go from zero to something with AI assistants, right?
Yeah. I'm excited to show it. It's a really cool tool. I love it. I saw it before I joined this team. It was part of the reason why I wanted to join this team so bad, because I was building and wanted an easier way to build some conversational AI interfaces. So very excited to show it to you today.
Awesome. Well, I will let you take it away. I'll hand it over to Chris. You're in good hands. I'm excited to watch this demo myself.
Okay, awesome. So I'm assuming everyone can see my screen. I'm actually going to start off on Twilio's website, where you can see some awesome things about what Twilio is doing for our customers in the customer engagement space. But the way I'm going to access AI assistants is by logging into Twilio. And if you don't have an account, when you do get access, you can hit start for free and set up a Twilio account. But I'm actually already logged in. So let me go to the Twilio console here. And I have found my AI assistants product. And I can click my assistants. So I'll go to my assistants. I've got a few here for different use cases. I've built some for demoing for like an airline who wants to help people with their baggage. We've done some for retail. We've done some for sales use cases. But what we've learned is that people want to build, they want to automate customer interactions. And that could be around service, of helping your customers get the information and support they need to be successful. It could be around sales, about selling them new products and letting them know about the value of your products, or even onboarding where you're helping them use a new product. But today I want to build a demo scheduler bot or assistant. And the reason is because we launched this thing on Monday. The feedback has been fantastic. And there's a lot of people reaching out saying, hey, I want to demo this thing. I want to see it. And I'm a little overwhelmed with all that. So I want to build an AI assistant where I can say, I'm too busy. Please talk to my assistant. They'll get you scheduled for a demo. So let's do it from scratch here, okay? I'm going to go to create assistant. We'll call it AI assistant demo scheduler. And we'll click create. It already gave it that name. We'll say the company is Twilio, best company ever. For the segment in customer AI features, this allows me to use customer data and the concept of customer memory. So we believe this is going to be key into providing really good customer engagements, in the sense that you need to know who you're talking to. You need to learn about them as you're talking to them. So the customer AI personalization engine takes information from the customer profile and gives it to the assistant to have a hyper-personalized conversation. And the AI perception engine is looking at every message sent and extracting that data to enrich the customer profile in real time. And the idea there is the more you talk to your customers, the more you learn about your customers. The more you learn about your customers, the better engagements you can provide them. So we are definitely turning on those features. And then let's give it a personality prompt. So this is where you just give it a grounded personality and tell it what you want it to do. So I'm going to say, you are a helpful sales development rep. Has anyone else found that like autocorrect has made them a horrible speller? Like, because it just does it for you now?
Yep, totally.
To schedule demos of Twilio AI Assistants. customers will reach out to you to learn more about Twilio AI Assistants. Okay, so we'll click Save Changes. And now this assistant needs to know, like, what is Twilio AI Assistants? We just launched it on Monday, so it definitely does not have that knowledge to reach out to. So let's start with giving it the right knowledge. And knowledge, you can think of this as like enterprise knowledge that grounds the assistant in factual data that you want to make sure that it is using in the responses that it gives to your users. And there's a few ways you can get that knowledge in there. You can give it through a website. You can give it through raw text. You can upload some files, or you can even connect to Pinecone, which is an awesome vector database. But in this case, let's just connect it. We've got twilioalpha.com here, and on it, we've got Twilio AI Assistants. Let's just take this link and put it here, and we'll give it a name. We'll call it Product Overview. And we'll say an overview of Twilio AI Assistants contains the value of AI assistants that can be used to articulate why people should use it. Okay, we're going to do a page depth of 1 and save as a new source. And it's going to start crawling this website and getting the information it needs to power this assistant with information about Twilio AI Assistants. So there we go.
Chris, can you tell us what is that page depth is related to, like how deep it goes into the web page structure? Is that right?
That's exactly like how many links it's going deep into, because you have a website and it has links on that website. You might want to crawl like the entire website and just each link you find keep going deeper and deeper and deeper. Right. But the Twilio Alpha website is pretty simple, so we don't need to crawl too much there.
Awesome, cool, thanks.
Yeah. All right. So there is a simulator here, and let's go ahead and test our assistant. We're going to give it a user identity so it knows who we're talking to. And we'll do create, and we'll say, hey, tell me more about Twilio AI Assistants. And let's see what happens here. The reason I like the simulator is because it tells you how the assistant is thinking, something you might not see like in production when it's deployed over like SMS or website or web chat or WhatsApp. But you can see that it used the personalization engine here to get the information about the user. Since we gave it an identity, we're assuming we know who this user is. So we're going to use that customer data. And then it's going to use that product knowledge that we just gave it and ask it a question. What is Twilio AI Assistants? And it gives us a really great response that's grounded in the information that's been provided to this website. So that is awesome. But this is not just an informational assistant. We want it to do things as well. And in this case, we want it to schedule some times for a demo. So let's go back to our assistant configuration. And for that, we'll use tools. Tools allow you to connect to some kind of external system like a third-party API or an enterprise system. I saw someone in the chat had mentioned like low-code tools. You can connect to some of those low-code automation tools as well, which would be pretty cool. But let's do this. I already have some APIs ready. So I'll say get times free for demo, and we'll say returns a list of times free for a demo of Twilio AI Assistants. And the reason I'm giving it a name and a description is because this is what allows the assistant to know when to use this tool. So if you think about like, I don't know, 2 years ago when you were building a conversational AI app, you'd go through like this decision tree and you'd say, if the person wants this, then go down this route. If the person wants this, go down this route. And then you'd have this giant, massive like decision tree at the end of the day to manage for your conversational AI. You don't need that anymore. Now you just tell the assistant like what these tools are, and it will intelligently know when to use them. And it does a really good job at that. So I'm going to go ahead and yeah, it's pretty sweet. I've got this tool here, and I'm just going to do a simple GET request. I'm not going to use the input schema here, but I'll use it on another tool. So I'll show you that in a second. And I'm also not going to require that the user needs to be verified with Twilio Verify before they use this tool. So let's create the tool and turn it on. And we'll go back to our simulator to test and see if it works. So we'll say, awesome. Are you free for a demo next week? And let's see what happens here.
I do love it's kind of like in math class when your teacher says, show your work. It's like you get to see the thought process going in and the calls there. That's fun for debugging.
Yeah,
I can see how that
it's
would be
pretty
really valuable.
sweet. Yeah, it is. And they actually, there's like research that shows that like when large language models show their work, they perform a lot better. So it's getting times free for a demo. You can see it used this tool because it knew that it needed to use it. And this is the response that came from that tool. So this is an integration with an app called Calendly, wonderful app for scheduling that I use all the time. And it's gone into multiple calendars that I have because I use like multiple Gmail accounts, and it's found all the times that I'm free. And it's returned that and given that information to the assistant. And the assistant can take all of that information and then structure a response like this, which is awesome. Okay. But so you see it like it. I love how it formatted it, by the way. That's beautiful. Because have you ever like tried to send someone when you're free? That is the most annoying thing you have to do. When I was like a sales rep and I had to like say, when do you want to schedule a demo? Like you'd have to look through people's calendars. You'd have to type it out and do all these like bullet points. It was,
My hot take is that scheduling large groups for something is like one of the world's largest unsolved problems.
yeah, I'm so shocked. Like, why can't you just put in the names of everyone you want there and just find a time? It's strange. All right, so let's go back and let's add one more tool. We're going to add a tool to schedule a demo. So we'll call this schedule demo. And the description we'll give it is use this to schedule a demo of Twilio AI Assistants. You must know the day the user wants to schedule. Yeah, so this time it's going to be a post request, and we are going to, by the way, if there's any developers on this, and don't abuse my endpoints here, okay? Be nice. And this time we're going to do schedule. And this is actually using a Google Calendar integration to just use a Google Calendar API to schedule a demo. So I'm going to say the input that it needs. Now the input is, what does the assistant need to use this tool? Well, it needs the person's name, which is a string. And I'm going to say that that's the name of user scheduling call. And then I'm going to say it needs an email, which is a string. And then I'm going to say it needs the schedule date, which is also a string. But I want that in ISO 8601 format. And so I'm giving the assistant, hey, this is what you need. I'm giving it some hints of how to format it and saying, this is what you need to use this tool. And then I'm going to create that tool and turn it on. All right, so let's go back to our simulator. And I'm going to say, okay, which one of these dates work best for me? I'm going to say Tuesday at 11:30. Tuesday at 11:30 works. And notice, like, I think the coolest thing about natural language is, like, you don't have to say Tuesday, April 23rd at 11:30 a.m. Pacific time. Like, it just knows that. And also keep in mind that, like, I needed it to know the name of the user and the email address of the user to use this tool. Where did it get that information? It got it from the customer data. So it didn't even have to ask the user. Like, it has this customer data. It's using this AI personalization engine to get that information, and it just injects it into the tool. If it didn't have that information, it would just ask the user and say, hey, before I schedule a demo with you, like, what's your name? What's your email address? So I can send you an invite. And look, it scheduled an invite for me. So perfect. In, I don't know, like 5-6 minutes, we just built a demo scheduling assistant for Twilio AI Assistants.
Yeah, that's so impressive. That was a speedy little process. And not only that, you were able to kind of debug and add features as you went, which is really nice. I think that live building is so valuable.
So much fun, too. It's so much fun. There was a time where Dom and I were building together, and he was configuring the assistant. I had an ngrok tunnel open and building like a backend API, and we were just like testing live together. And it was just so fast, but a lot of fun to build a Twilio AI assistant.
Yeah, awesome. That's very cool. Thank you, Chris. And you mentioned that moment when it like already knew the users or the website visitor, the person trying to schedule it knew their email and kind of that data. And you said it might just ask if they didn't have that, and then that data would get wrapped back up into that customer memory, right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It would ask them for that context, say, what's your name? Why are you interested? And it would capture all that data and put it in the customer memory. So in the future, you can use that in the conversation, or you may use it for something else. You may use it for a marketing campaign or some kind of targeted campaign you're doing.
Right, but one way or another, you've got it at that point, and so that's that kind of circular reinforcement that you mentioned of customization prompts more conversation, which prompts more customization.
Exactly.
Very cool. Awesome. Well, I'm excited to schedule a demo with you again soon here. I might have to go check out that bot. I guess I'm trying to think if I have like a fun fact question for you. What's like have you tried any super wacky assistants or building on assistants, like just kind of for fun or?
This morning at breakfast, I was building my resume into the assistant, and I was like debating whether to show that today, but I didn't want to like put all my personal information out there. So
that's fair.
But it was actually pretty cool. Like, I get like recruiters reaching out like weekly, right? And I'm just like, talk to my assistant.
Right. That would be cool.
See if I'm a good fit. And so like, it took all my job history, all my skill sets, and like, I asked it like, would Chris be a good fit as an astronaut? And it said no. And that's totally true. I know nothing about space or rockets or any of that. But I asked it, would he be a good fit for sales? And it said, yes, absolutely. And it kind of like sold me in the process. So it was pretty cool.
That's awesome. Well, I'll just say, I think you can be anything you want to be, Chris. So if you want to be an astronaut, there's time, but that is a cool.
Until I like blow up in the air, and then you're like, I gave him that advice to be an astronaut, and now like the spaceship is like hurling down to Earth. That's on you, Emily.
Okay, all right. Well, I take it back. Never mind. Don't do it. So thank you so much, Chris. Appreciate that demo. That was awesome.
What an incredible conversation. I feel so lucky to be a part of this team and to get to work with folks like this every day. If you want to be a part of this process, sign up for the dev preview for AI Assistants. There's a link in the description, and we're so excited to have you be a part of helping us shape the future of Twilio's products.